I always knew my family thought less of me. They never said it outright, not at first. It came in jokes, comparisons, sighs that lingered too long. "You lack ambition," my father liked to say. "Your brother thinks bigger," my mother added gently, like she was doing me a favor. I learned to swallow it. I built a quiet life, a stable job, a marriage I believed in. I thought consistency counted for something. I was wrong. The truth didn't arrive like a thunderclap. It seeped in slowly, poisoning memories one by one. A strange look between my wife and my brother. Family gatherings where conversations stopped when I entered. Holidays where I felt like a guest in my own home. 5 years, they said later. 5 years of smiles, dinners, birthdays, and lies. I found out by accident. A borrowed tablet. A message preview that wasn't meant for me. My brother's name, followed by words no wife should ever send. My hands went numb. My vision tunneled. I scrolled because part of me still hoped I was misunderstanding. I wasn't. Photos, plans, complaints about me, jokes about how he'll never notice, messages where my wife reassured my brother that the family had it handled. That's when it hit me. They all knew. My parents, my siblings, aunts, cousins, people who had looked me in the eye and told me to try harder, aim higher, be more like him. They didn't hide the affair because they were afraid of hurting me. They hid it because they thought I deserved it. I didn't confront anyone. Not that day. Not that week. I went quiet, observant. I replayed conversations in my head, and suddenly everything made sense. The way my mother defended my wife a little too fiercely. The way my father dismissed my concerns as insecurity. "Maybe if you had more drive," he'd said once, "she wouldn't feel lonely." I realized something important in that moment. If I exploded, I'd prove them right. So I didn't. I documented everything. Messages, timelines, financial transfers I'd ignored because I trusted my family. I spoke to a lawyer without telling anyone. I learned how much of my life I'd been carrying alone. The hardest part wasn't the betrayal. It was mourning the version of my family I thought I had. When I finally confronted my wife, it wasn't dramatic. I placed the evidence on the table and watched her face collapse. "How long?" I asked. She didn't answer at first. 5 years, she whispered. I nodded, like she'd just confirmed a meeting time. "And my family?" She hesitated. That told me enough. "They said you'd never leave," she admitted. "They said you weren't that kind of man." That sentence burned more than any insult. I invited everyone over the following Sunday, framed it as a family dinner. My mother even smiled, relieved, probably thinking I'd sensed something and was ready to be corrected. They sat around the table like always. My brother relaxed, confident, untouchable. I waited until dessert. Then I stood up and turned on the screen behind me. No yelling, no accusations, just facts, messages, dates, photos, financial records. Proof that this wasn't a mistake or a moment of weakness, but a sustained betrayal supported by silence and contempt. My mother cried first. My father tried to speak, then stopped when he realized there was nothing he could say that would justify 5 years of deception. My brother stood up, angry now, not ashamed. "You're really going to do this?" he snapped. "After everything we've done for you?" That was the moment I knew I'd been right to wait. I smiled calmly. "Yes," I said. "Because now you don't get to rewrite the story." I handed my wife the divorce papers. Infidelity clauses already activated, assets protected, accounts separated. Then I turned to my family. "You told me I lacked ambition," I said evenly. "So I stopped investing in people who saw me as lesser. The house we were sitting in, mine, bought with my savings. The business I'd quietly built on the side, legally separate. The financial safety net they assumed existed for all of them, gone. I asked them to leave. Some pleaded. Some blamed stress. Some accused me of cruelty. My brother said nothing. He knew exactly what he'd lost. The affair collapsed within weeks. Without secrecy, it wasn't exciting. Without my stability, it wasn't sustainable. My wife tried to come back once, said she'd been manipulated, said my family poisoned her view of me. Maybe they did. It didn't matter. I cut contact with all of them. Not out of anger, but clarity. I stopped answering calls, changed numbers, built boundaries no one else got to vote on. Months passed. The silence healed me in ways noise never could. I learned something important through all of it. Ambition isn't loud. It isn't domination or entitlement. Sometimes ambition is choosing yourself after everyone else decided you were expendable. They thought I'd accept betrayal because I was less. What they didn't understand was this. I wasn't lacking ambition. I was conserving it. And when I finally used it, I used it to walk away with my dignity, my future, and my life intact, leaving them with nothing but the truth they tried so hard to hide.